मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदामह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्णा कर्ण सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let's start. Even though I joined late, I hope I can finish on time. Let's see. It's a very nice chapter. Deva Asura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. The divine and demoniac, the divine and demoniac natures. Where are you? Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda, who will give us the intelligence to understand. Bhagavad Gita or Krishna consciousness is so beautiful. This is what we did yesterday. Purushottam Yoga, chapter 15. Becoming detached from the material world. The Krishna describes the material world as upside down banyan tree, and the complexities of the tree, and how living entity is just jumping from one branch to another rather than getting out of the tree. So from first to fifth verse, the transmigration. A person may try to see how the living entity is transmigrating, but if the eyes are not in knowledge, then can't see. It was described by Krishna in verse 6 to 11. Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha. Krishna is the maintainer of gross body, subtle body, and the soul. 12 to 15th verse. Vedesha Sarve Ahameva Vedyo. Summary of the Vedanta Sutras. Once again, Sambandha Abhidya Prayojan was described. Sambandha Abhidya Prayojan will come again in chapter 17 tomorrow. Ti Guhya Tamam Shastram. Let's see. Today, transcendental and demoniac qualities. Krishna is going to describe there are two types of people or living. The one who have divine qualities and another who has demoniac qualities, and he's going to describe the two. The first he describes the transcendental qualities, then he describes the demoniac nature from 7 to 18th verse, and then he describes what is the result of having these two qualities, result of demoniac quality activities, and the choice of elevation or degradation. So we have a choice. There is a choice. What do I want to do with my life? So he describes 26 divine qualities, and then he describes 6 demoniac qualities. So these are the 26 divine qualities. Prabhupada gives a very big, puppet. And each and every quality is described in greater detail in chapter 9 of first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, but in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna takes good amount of time in describing what is what. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and freedom from passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So each and every quality is all of us should have all the qualities, but specifically some specific varna and ashrama is supposed to have those qualities for sure. For example, fearlessness, a sannyasi should have fearlessness. If a sannyasi cannot think that what will happen to me if I leave my family. A sannyasi just can't think like that. If a sannyasi is not fearless, that yes, I'm 100% dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead for my protection, then that sannyasi is a burden. Cannot. So the Prabhupada even writes that better not to become a sannyasi if a person is not fearless. A sannyasi has to travel alone, and that involves a lot of courage. So fearlessness is a must for sannyas, for a person situated in sannyas ashram. Purification of one's existence also must for sannyas ashram. If a sannyasi is not minute to minute involved in purification of the existence of their existence, then it is a false sannyas, falgu vairagya. Cultivation of spiritual knowledge also, this sannyasi. A sannyasi is supposed to. It's a must. Everyone should have it, but it's a must for sannyasi. Charity is specifically for grihasthas. Grihasthas are involved in money, earning money or spending money, uh, sorry, saving money. Uh, so much of Lakshmi is needed to maintain a family. So if a grihastha is not giving charity, then they forget their heart becomes hard-hearted. They become hard-hearted. This is said by Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada was asked by one of his disciples, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada is Srila Prabhupada's guru, that uh, we say that whatever action we do, there's a reaction. So should we give charity? Because if I give charity to somebody, then I may become implicated with the charity. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, a grihastha, I apologize, a grihastha must give charity. If a grihastha is not giving charity, then the grihastha's heart is very, very hard. So we follow the footsteps of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. So it could be like in any way, like for example, some devotees, they bake cookies in the house, they offer to Krishna, put it in the small packets, put it in the car. And if they see some poor person on the road, they just go on doing it, giving it out. So there has to be some way of giving charity. If one is not giving charity, then one becomes very, very entangled in karmic reaction. There's a karmic reaction for grihasthas if they don't give charity. We have to. Some things are must. Like for a sannyasi, fearlessness is a must. So grihastha charity is a must. Self-control also grihasthas. Performance of sacrifice is also grihasthas, but all the varnas. Study of the Vedas specifically for brahmachari. If a brahmachari is not involved in studying the features of Brahman or Krishna in the study of the scriptures, then the brahmacharya ashram is contaminated. Austerity by everyone, but specifically by brahmachari. Simplicity, everybody. Non-violence, all the varnas. Non-violence just does not mean that don't kill. Yes, it means that don't unnecessarily kill, but also non-violence means cultivate spiritual knowledge. If somebody is not cultivating spiritual knowledge, then that person is also committing violence. Truthfulness also for all the varnas and ashramas, freedom from anger, everybody. So, like that, each and every quality is described in detail. Uh, Bhagavad Gita gives like, okay, this particular varna and ashrama must follow this particular quality. But Krishna actually decorates a devotee with these qualities. We don't really have to like hunt that. Let me stop Krishna consciousness and let me practice renunciation, for example. No. By the practice of Krishna consciousness, the renunciation will automatically develop. We don't have to, work for it. But these qualities are described by Krishna, first of all, to give us a goal that this is what it takes to become Krishna conscious. We cannot just have, a self label ourselves that now I'm becoming Krishna conscious. No, how many of these qualities are coming in? And number two, it is because Krishna wants to encourage us. that this is what is waiting for a person who is trying to be Krishna conscious. These are the things waiting, right? In case somebody wants to have a very good wants to become something, a career, they want to have a career. Now they need to know, right, before they take to that career, what is waiting, what kind of a job prospect this person will have, what kind of a lifestyle is expected, how many hours the work has to be put in, right? And what is going to be the result. Like that, if I'm going to Krishna consciousness, Krishna wants to encourage, this is waiting, all these qualities are waiting, and Krishna gives it. um, we have to become ready to take it. And how do we become ready? By saying yes to Krishna. So he describes in detail, but now he's going to talk about 6 demoniac qualities. Vibha, you want to chant? Is she here? I think she's not there. Dambho darpo abhimanascha krodha parusyam evacha अज्ञानम च अभितस्य पार्थ संपद आश्रयम arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those who of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. So these 6 qualities are actually the anarthas, the unwanted things in one's consciousness, which impede one's Krishna consciousness. Why someone is not able to become Krishna conscious? One of the 6 things is happening. There's one of the 6 things sitting inside: arrogance and pride. Arrogance and pride means that I want to be the enjoyer. I want everyone to acknowledge me for what I'm doing and not Krishna. I did the work. Didn't you see that I was the one doing the work? Then how come you're giving credit to someone else? So that's arrogance and pride. Anger is manifested if you study now in second chapter. We studied it. 8 step fall down. Anger is manifested if the lust is not satisfied. And what is lust? Desire anything other than Krishna is lust. So anger, one very big sannyasi in ISKCON, he says anger is one word less than danger. If you put D in front, it becomes danger. So anger, whenever somebody is anger, it needs to be understood. Material anger, spiritual anger is very rare to be seen, but materially, then it is a need which is not met, and that need is mostly not in connection with Krishna. Conceit, the devotee is not duplicate. There's simplicity. What is inside is outside. But conceit means somebody who has inside and outside 2 different personalities. So there is this polarity between the character. Well, I'm not saying that one should not have privacy. Privacy is a healthy boundary, but secrecy is a shame. Generally, secrecy is a shame, and privacy is a healthy boundary. So conceit, when we say, it usually means secrecy. There's a secret character or nature, and then there is a public display of something else. But devotee is not carrying so much burden. It's simple. Harshness, or ignorance. So harshness we can understand, very, very rude. When somebody is rude with the others, then that person is very, very rude to their own existence and committing violence to their existence because they're not becoming Krishna conscious. Ignorance, we studied ignorance a little bit yesterday, and we will study the mode of ignorance again tomorrow. Typically, ignorance means unawareness, but that is not an excuse because human being is supposed to be aware. So these qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, son of Pritha. Okay. Devi sampad vimokshaya nibandhya asuri mata ma sucha sampadevim abhijato si pandavaha. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with divine qualities. So, okay, so he's saying, what is the big deal in dividing these qualities? Well, because the transcendental qualities will help one to get out of the material bondage, and demoniac qualities will help one to remain in material bondage very, very nicely. So Arjuna can get concerned that what is his qualities. So Krishna tells him that you are born with divine qualities. You don't have to worry. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other is called demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. So very important line. I really like this last line. Every time I read it. Now hear from me. Punchline is from me. He does not say now hear of the demoniac. He says now hear from me of the demoniac. So one must hear all these authorized scriptures from a particular bona fide source. Why should we give our hearing power to somebody? Let's do this exercise. Please remind me at the end. I've been wanting to do this exercise with this class. The sound vibration, how it has already manipulated or given us some direction. Please remind me, one of my co-hosts at the end. Now let's hear what is the demoniac quality. Very, very nice. Pravartim, not nice, but nicely explained. Pravartim cha nivrittim cha. Jana na vidur asuraha. Na socham napi cha cha acharo. Na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. They don't know what is done and what is not to be done. They if you if somebody tells them get up early in the morning and chant Hare Krishna, oh, they will get very angry. This statement itself will incite a big amount of anger. Don't you know I have to rest? I have work from this time to this time. Anyway, neither cleanliness. So cleanliness is of two types: internal and external. Internal cleanliness by chanting the glories of Krishna or Vedic mantras, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. External cleanliness is by keeping the environment clean and keeping the body clean. But a person with asuric bhava will not be doing that. Not proper behavior. The behavior will be duplicate. Not truth is found in them. Why there is no truth? Why there is no truth? Because they are in ignorance. Uh, Everybody is born in ignorance, and that's how it is. But should we remain in ignorance? Is the question. No. Why should you remain in? Why should one remain in ignorance if there is so much of fun waiting in the scriptural injunctions? So those are the three characters. And then asatyam apratishtham te jagat ahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kama hetukam. They say that this world is unreal, that there is no foundation, and that there is no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So very people come and do these TED talks on atheism and how we can live our life by motivating ourselves, and we really don't need anyone else, including God. So that people and they get so many followers. So actually, the world is full of atheists. If they're getting so many followers, that means whoever is following them is also an atheist. They're convinced of this explanation about atheism. So one question is, if I am an atheist, I should ask myself sincerely, why am I becoming an atheist? Is it coming from the background of scriptures, or is it coming from the background of frustration in my life? We have to understand where is this coming from. Following such conclusions, who are lost to themselves, who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. I'll give you two scenarios. One scenario is that the whole world, for a second, whole world think the whole world is Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means that everybody is convinced that the whole world is property of Krishna, and we are living here using his property. So let us try to be engaged in glorification and enjoyment of Krishna. And in that consciousness, let's help each other and see each other as part and parcel of Krishna, that we are all bound by an invisible string. Each one of us is bounded by an invisible string. My string is going to you, then going to the other person, going to the person. We are all like the string. And who's holding the string? Krishna. So Krishna is the common factor between all of us. Let's say the world is full of such people. Now tell me, if the world is full of such people and understanding, is there going to be any need for any war or nuclear weapon? Please raise your hand and tell me. I'm audible, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Rama Seshu Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. We don't need any. Sorry, I would like the question again, Mataji.
The question is that I'm going to give you two scenarios. One scenario is that tell me, if the world is full of all the human beings are Krishna conscious and they look at the world as part and parcel of Krishna.
Okay.
And each other as part and parcel of Krishna, and everybody is engaged in serving Krishna with assistance of each other. Will we need any nuclear weapons?
No, we don't need any. We won't be needing any nuclear weapons.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Gayatri Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. No need of nuclear weapons since everyone will be having divine qualities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Swati Mataji.
No need of weapons as Krishna is the protector of everyone. So it's not needed.
Okay, thank you. Pomana James.
Yes, there is no need of weapons. There is no need of anything at all. Any material goods will not be needed at all. So there will be peace throughout the world. There will be no development. People will be happy with what they have. All they want to do is worship God, eat and sleep. There will be no development. There will be no competition in this world.
No development means what, Mataji?
Yeah, everyone will be satisfied with what they have. If people are Krishna conscious,
you mean there will be no material conscious?
Yeah,
because Krishna
everything will come to a standstill. It will be just like in heaven. In heaven, how will we be in heaven? There will be no competition. So there is no development, I should say. There is no progress, or there is no scientific development, I should say. Everything will be standstill.
A scientific development. Okay, thank you, Mataji. I think I'll seek some clarification, because when Krishna was present himself on the planet, everybody, there was a lot of spiritual development going on, and we still get some glimpses of how the palaces were and how people were happy. The earth was producing all the produce. So there was a lot of spiritual progress in people's life. But okay, I think I get the gist of your answer, that there'll be happiness all pervading. Thank you, Mataji. Shiva Kumar Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Namaste, Mataji. Namaste. And good afternoon, devotees. Today is Kuchelesa Day, Kuchele Day. This one, Krishna and Kuchela Day. Today is Kuchela Day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mataji, when there is decline in adharma, means when dharma is, righteousness is declining and adharma is increasing, then demonic activities and all will take place. This is what my view is. So it is the balancing of dharma.
Okay, but thank you, Prabhu. So my question is that if the whole world becomes Krishna conscious,
if the whole world becomes Krishna consciousness, then it is like a golden age. We are crossing the Kali Yuga. We are crossing the Iron Age. We are coming to the golden age. That is a beautiful and wonderful age. everybody will be in love with Krishna, full of Krishna chanting, full of Krishna consciousness, full of love, full of happiness, full of blossom,
Okay.
full of
Thank you,
positivity,
Prabhu.
full of positivity.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so
Mataji,
much.
I want to share one thing. I want to share one thing, beautiful thing. Usually I will chant only Hare Krishna mantra 108 times. Today I did it 16 times. First time in
Oh,
lifetime. I am
very
doing
good.
16.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So
108
nice.
only I will do. Today I did 108 into 16.
Very, very, very impressive. Thank you so much.
Full
Haribol.
of full of energy, full of energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So yes, so Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate, right? That everybody is looking at the world as property of Krishna. Why there is so much exploitation? Because people think that there is something for me here, right? I can exploit and I can be more rich than the other person. But if everybody looks at, oh, this is for Krishna, let me do my best. Krishna is the enjoyer, not I. And everybody is assisting everybody, then that's Vaikuntha. That's what is happening in Vaikuntha. But so demoniac nature leads to the development of wars or killing or nuclear weapon development. Prabhupada used to say that what is civilization? Civilization means shanti, peacefulness, okay, and then also means security. Also means that happiness of the people is more important. That is civilization. But what is happening? That the so-called very knowledgeable people of the society are actually not aiming towards this kind of a civilization. Srila Prabhupada was very practical. He said everybody's dying anyway, just a matter of time, everybody's dying anyway. So why to develop something which will just expedite the process of dying? Nuclear weapon is doing nothing, or wars or all the weapons are doing nothing but expediting the process of dying. Anyway, the death is coming. Why not do something which will make us deathless? Why do something which will just expedite the natural process anyway? But we don't understand. We get allured. The progress of a country depends on how many nuclear weapons one is possessing. But there will always be a class of people who will be demoniac. So that is why Kshatriyas are needed. Kshatriya means one who can give protection. I am not saying that the whole world, material world, will ever become like that. Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan are like that. But in general, putting heavy taxes on people, getting their earnings to develop something like this is not a very intelligent idea, and by anybody. The demoniac taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, false prestige, being thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses onto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, there is no end to their anxiety. Being bound by hundreds and thousands of desires, by lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. So Krishna knows how entangling this world is, and he's telling that these things are going to give you a life of this network. Sharira avidya jal, network of ignorance. That think that okay, I worked, so I deserve to enjoy. And enjoyment means that I have so many desires and I need to fulfill all of them. That is enjoyment. Why artha? Why money is important? Because by money one can procure the objects of sense gratification. It gives some power. So, but that thing will lead to entanglement. That is why Srila Prabhupada said we have to have 4 regulative principles of freedom. Freedom. He said 4 regulative principles of freedom. At least in International Society for Krishna Consciousness, when one aspires for initiation, when one becomes serious and wants to aspire and wants to accept a guru, then there is a testing period for 6 months to 1 year to see if one is able to practice these regulative principles or not. If one is not able to practice these regulative principles, then one is not given initiation. This is the basic criteria. I'll start from anti-clockwise. So meat eating. Meat eating is prohibited. Why? Because meat eating takes the mercy factor from the heart. One cannot be merciful if one is eating meat. The mercy is always going to be incomplete, even though that person may think, I am so nice, I am so philanthropic, I am so helpful. But if they're killing an innocent animal which cannot fight for its life, where is this quality? At least according to the Shastras. Intoxication takes away the austerity. One is always under the effect of some intoxication, any kind of intoxication. Even the mildest form of intoxication in the form of tea and coffee is also prohibited, because intoxication makes the mind dependent on something else. But while a spiritualist is training the mind to be dependent on Krishna, just Krishna. My wakefulness or sleep or whatever is not dependent on anything, nothing. It has to depend on Krishna. So intoxication takes away the austerity features from the living entity's character. Illicit relationships. Illicit relationships takes away cleanliness from the character of a person. So these are basic things. If somebody is in an illicit relation, their consciousness is very heavy. And Shastras are talking about it. Shastras don't lie. Shastras have nothing other than pure, direct instruction and truth to give one living entity for the eternal benefit. So illicit relationship is condemned, because illicit relationship takes away the cleanliness. So one is not clean. It's very, very hard to become clean, because they're always trying to satisfy the senses. And that life is very, very horrible. It's like a hog-like life. A hog is trying to satisfy the desires. Gambling takes away truthfulness, because gambling, unnecessary gambling, one is always surmounted by anxiety, and one has to lie when they gamble. So gambling, it's cheating, right? So cheating is takes away the truthfulness from the living entity's nature. So if somebody is constantly lying, how can they understand what is the absolute truth? Krishna is the absolute truth. How can we even understand the meaning of the word absolute truth? So these four principles one must follow. And if not following, then at least in ISKCON, uh, they're not given the initiation at the time being. But by following the regulatory principles or by practicing, Prabhupada said living entity follows, then falls down, and then gets up again and follows again, then falls down, and then gets up again, follows again, and falls down, and goes on practicing until we can follow. Because constitutionally, we don't have these contaminations. Constitutionally, we are free from all these things. And that is the meaning of the word sakshaktam, unruffled. Shantiktam, full of peace. Because originally, the soul has nothing of this. So practice, fall down, practice, fall down, practice, fall down, until don't fall anymore, and then accept a guru. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today? This is so nice. This is corporate world today. So much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him. And my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Krishna is speaking this, and Krishna is actually giving a script in our hand, that are we talking to ourselves like this? Check, because we are talking to ourselves whole day. Or the person whom we talk to most is our own self in our lifespan. So what is our dialogue? Internal dialogue. In this way, such person are deluded by ignorance. So all these things we can find in all these great demons. Ravana, Kansa, and Hiranyakashipu. Right? Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, one becomes too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and falls down into hell. Destination is described. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demon becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in his own body and in the bodies of others, and blasphemes against the real religion. So again, Ahankara Vimudhatma. So become bewildered. Why? Because of the false ego. Ego, there is a real ego, and the real ego is that I am constitutionally. Ego here means identification. What am I identifying? What am I identifying myself as? False ego is I am identifying myself as a part and parcel of this world, as this body, and I am convinced with that designation. But that is false ego. Strength, pride, lust, and anger. So all these things, a person becomes envious of Krishna only. That how Krishna can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I should be the one. You see, Hiranyakashipu was like that. He wanted a benediction from Brahma so he can never die, so that he can be the Lord of everything. That was his intention. So becomes envious. Or Shishupal. I think I have described this past time. Right? Shishupal was born envious of Krishna. But what is the destination of such a person? Krishna, death, right? A very glorified death. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. So, person who is envious is earning a ticket to go to the demoniac species of life. It's not that Krishna is sending; is that we are ourselves asking. Srila Prabhupada gives example of a typewriter. Okay, typewriter is a type. I don't know if children in this class know what typewriter is, but there used to be a machine called typewriter where we can type, like you have computer keyboard now, and so I apologize. So typewriter gives what sound it makes if it is present in earth. What sound it makes? Tuck 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 tuck. Prabhupada said, take the typewriter to the heavenly planets. What will it do? Again, it will make tuck 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 tuck. Take the typewriter to the hellish planet. What will it do? Again, tuck 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 tuck. So unless and until one stops this tuck 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 and actually becomes aware of their own self, what will they do if they go to Vaikuntha? Let's say such a person is given entrance to spiritual world, who is demoniac in nature. They will cause disturbance. Tuck 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 only, right? There'll be a disturbance in the environment of Vaikuntha, that who has come? What is this person doing here? So we have to stop this tuck 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 ourselves and take to this Krishna consciousness. If I don't want to end up in hellish planets, I am responsible. Krishna is not responsible. What happens if somebody falls down, attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life? Such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence, going down and down, dark and dark. Trividham narakakshedhyam dwaram nashanam atmanah kama krodhas tatha lobhas tasmad etat trayam tyajet. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to degradation of the soul. So lust, anger, greed. These are the three things, three traits which lead a living entity to fall down from the position of Krishna consciousness. Lust, I have explained that Krishna Indriya, Atma Indriya Tripti Vancha Tarunam Kam, Krishna Indriya Tripti Vancha Tarunam Prem. So lust is I want to satisfy my own desires independent of Krishna. Any desire, eating food without offering to Krishna, or having a closet full of clothes and at the end wondering I have nothing to wear, going and buying more is also lust. Or if I can be satisfied with one car but putting 10 cars because I'm fond of cars, so the pieces of metal, that is also lust. So those all things. Anger, because lust can never be satisfied. So it leads to anger, and anger leads to more and more greed. I want. Unless and until I get it, I will always be sitting with the anger in my consciousness. So this is in succession. Nothing is by chance. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, perform acts conducive to self-realization, and thus gradually attains to supreme destination. So Krishna is saying, Achar and Prachar are more important. Means that, okay, if somebody has cultivated the knowledge, practice of knowledge is more important than absolutely having the knowledge. How is that person living? So that's what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada said, if somebody wants to accept a guru, associate with that person for 1 year. Don't just, impulsively go and say, oh, you're my guru, give me initiation. No, associate and hear and study the life of that person. And that person will also study our life. And if there is a mutual agreement at the end of the 1 year or minimum, or then there will be a process of initiation. Okay, so we have to see how am I practicing all this? Where is it? Where is Krishna consciousness executed in my day-to-day life? Not just a matter of 1 hour in the morning or 5 minutes arti in the morning or night. Yashastra vidhim utsarja vartate karitah nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na paramgatim. 3 times he says no. But he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So somebody says, no, I don't believe what you're saying. Fine. Questions are different. We can have question and then get answers. But if there is a doubt, then no perfection, no happiness, no supreme destination, according to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastitau kyatva shastra vidhan karma kartum iharhasi. Yes, one should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulation of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So understand by the scriptures, and after understanding, practice it. Act. One should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So this is what we did today. Overview of 16th chapter, that there are divine qualities and demoniac qualities. Krishna describes 26 divine qualities and 6 demoniac qualities. So transcendental and demoniac qualities in verse 1 to 6. First, Bhavanti Sampada Devam. Then Krishna spends a considerable amount of time in describing the demoniac qualities and nature and activities in demoniac quality. So 6 demoniac qualities were described, and because of those qualities, what is the action of a living entity? How a living entity thinks is written, how a living entity acts is written, and what is the result of that thinking and action? Right? Because thoughts leads to actions, and actions leads to destiny. So demoniac nature, 7 to 18th verse, Dambho Darpas Abhimanascha. The result of demoniac activities is to fall down. It leads to degradation of the soul. And the choice of elevation and degradation is described in the last verse, that one must understand what is duty and what is not duty by the help of the scriptures. And then one must act so that one can be elevated. Why to degrade? 19 to 24. Na sukham na paramgatim. Okay, I will be sharing and welcoming all of you to join the groups. We made the schedule for your catch-up Bhagavad Gita detailed classes. Whoever wants to go ahead and join those classes. Because you will be joining a batch called Govindas from 23rd December, but they are on second chapter beginning. So we have to cover first chapter with all of you. So your schedule will be shared. So it's going to be from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Coming Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 3 continuous days. 1.5 hour class each day. to cover up chapter 1. So I and Sita Mataji will be covering those chapters with you. The only issue or the only thing with the detailed Bhagavad Gita classes is that for your batch, I don't have a fixed schedule. I give the schedule out. I'll show you. I give the schedule out way in advance. Like now, I have Jan to March schedule ready on what days I can take class, and it is at 7 to 8:30 p.m. India time. So if those timings don't suit you, please let me know, and we can give you the link to Navanishta Prabhu's classes, and you can join his classes also. He has lot more classes than I do. He's doing a lot more. So feel free to join. So this is going to be yours. It will be shared in your groups along with the link for you to join. So your catch-up schedule will be December 19th at 5 to 6:30 p.m. India time. 20th 5:30 to 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and 21st is 4 to 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So these 3 days, hopefully we can bring you, and then on 23rd December, you will join the main group. Okay, we can take up some questions, and then I want to do that exercise. So Sita Mataji and Karthik Prabhu, I'll make the 2 breakout rooms and bring you back in 5-10 minutes. Is that okay?
Sure, Mataji.
Okay, so please make sure both of you are in separate rooms. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please ask your question. Yeah, you can ask your question. Yes, Prabhu, Arvind Prabhu, you can go ahead with your question.
Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, is there any mention of devils in earth?
Is there mention of any devils?
Yeah, like for example, when we are in childhood, they'll be telling like devils are there, like that, and all stories are there, right?
Yeah,
In Bhagavad
actually,
Gita,
I'm that is correct. Actually, devils are nothing but like when the soul it does not live that particular full life, right? Before that, due to some accident or some other thing happens, so that will take its own time before the um, actual age. Like for example, a living being has to live for 40 years, for 80 years, but before that it goes away in 40 years. Then the rest of the time it will go, the atma, it will have the soul, it will live as a like whatever they call the devil or whatever this call. Actually, it does not have a body associated with it. So that is what they normally call devil or something, some other name. But it is
okay,
not
okay,
it is not a good thing, right? Because
yeah, it's not.
either it should have a body, otherwise without a body how it can just roam about in the atmosphere. That is not a good thing, or as they say in the show, in the movies and all, it is not a correct depiction actually. So it is a very low state actually. Nobody should even think about that. So but for Krishna devotees, we need not think about those things. Definitely we will not get such a stage that even they say like even the Yamadutas, they won't even come near the Krishna devotees. So not even in the while you are dreaming in the sleep, not even in the dream, the Yamadutas will come. So that is the assurance given by our acharyas. That is what is stated in all the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So whoever is a Krishna devotee, whoever worships Krishna or Vishnu, they won't get any kind of these things even in the dream.
Okay, okay. Because I've seen so many videos in YouTube, that's why I asked.
We don't have to. We don't want to think and get frightened about those things. So it is not
Okay,
applicable
Just,
to Krishna devotees. Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you.
yeah, can I just add something? Were you meaning ghost or were you meaning something else?
Yeah,
You were talking about ghost?
Ghost.
Ghost only. Okay, so normally the moment the body dies, the soul leaves, and either it goes to Vaikunta or it will pick another body. It can be a human body or it may be another body. The main concept of when the ghost concept comes is when the person is born, the date of birth and the date of death is already decided. When that is not decided, in the sense it happens in case of a suicide. So if a person involves or commits a suicide, then there is no body until that span of time. That is when actually the person without the body, and the soul has all the attachments, right? So like how we want to eat, we want to drink, all those feelings are there for the ghost, but it does not have a body. That is the actual state, and it's a very painful state.
Yeah, it
So
will have
as
all the
a
feelings.
devotee, and it is something.
Yeah, as Mataji said, it will have all the feelings, but it will not be able to do anything. So that is a very lowest stage, right? It's very hard thing for anyone.
Yeah.
So we don't want to get into those things. That's why we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's what Prabhupada says. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 times and follow the 4 basic principles. So once you do that, start chanting these things. As per Prabhupada, we have to follow the Acharya's guidelines. So once you start doing that, you will slowly get away from all these material attachments. So these thinkings will never come to us, and our aim is to go back to Vaikunta or Goloka, so that our thinking will go in Krishna's thinking. So we will get purified slowly.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Is your question answered?
Yes, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Any other question? Do you all have any other question?
No, Mataji.
Okay, then we can you can click on the leave breakout room.
Just one moment. I think Mataji Raja Raman is actually raising the hand. Yes, please go ahead.
Just to unmute. Just to unmute herself.
Can you please unmute? We are not able to hear.
I'm sorry. Am I audible now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
see, there is always a talk about getting a spiritual guru. This is very difficult in this modern world. Before you used to have gurukulas, and gurus were really gurus who used to teach. But now, can we associate ourselves with somebody in Krishna consciousness or ISKCON or something? And how is it done? Because we always talk about getting a spiritual master.
Yeah,
how do you practically do that? That is what I wanted.
Very nice question, Mataji. So I think Mataji would have shown in the previous chapter or in the coming chapters.
She just showed some 4 stages of Guru.
Yeah, there are 4 basic.
Unfortunately, I didn't. I mean, that slide I do not have. But you can just mention the names. I remember that she showed some 4 stages.
Yeah, 4 sampradayas. So those are the sampradayas from where those are the bona fide acharyas who are eligible, like who have the knowledge directly from the Lord, and they have the link still with the Lord, actually Krishna. So that is what is stated there. So first is like the one is the Sri Sampradaya, Sri Ramanuja Sampradaya, and Srila Prabhupada Sampradaya. It comes from it is the Brahma Sampradaya, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. It directly comes from the Brahma. And there is one more Rudra Sampradaya that originates from Lord Shiva, and one more is Nimbagacharya, I think. So I'm not very sure, but I'll get you that slide, Mataji. So whoever is falling under these 4 sampradayas, they are already in the right path, and whoever is attached, whoever is associated with the gurus, with the acharyas from these sampradayas, will definitely go back to Krishna, because we follow all the principles and regulations, rules, and all the guidelines given by our gurus, acharyas. So we definitely, acharyas give the assurance, definitely we will go back to Vaikunta or Goloka.
No, but I understand that. What I'm saying is, for a grahastha like us, when family people who are here at home and everything, I mean, how do you get linked to this? Because you are not going to be able to go and stay in an ashram or something. I mean, a practical approach, I'm asking.
Yeah, practically, Mataji has suggested, practically you should go and approach a guru. At least for 1 year, you should associated with a guru and do service to him, Pada Seva. And then once you get satisfied, okay, this is my life guru that I have been searching for, you should get satisfaction in mind. So once you, first you need to identify a guru, like as you said, from ISKCON or any of the Sampradayas, and then go to them. Mataji says 1 year is the maximum length, but if you are getting satisfied within 1 week also, you are able to identify the correct guru, you are satisfied in your mind, then you have to approach that guru and get to the next level. You should approach him and what we should do next. So how to get initiated? So slowly, Mataji will be sharing all those things like. So that is why the initial stage who are not associated, we should start chanting the Mahamantra. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. We should start chanting the Mahamantra and follow the 4 basic principles. So to start with.
Okay, thank you.
And Mataji will be sharing the advanced Gita classes also. So she will be giving you more enlightenment into those areas like once you start attending those classes, right, you will get more enlightenment.
Thank you, sir.
And to add to this, you were telling family life. So it's not that you have to leave your family life and get into sannyasa. So basically the concept of sannyasa is not there for women at all, as per our shastra. So what they are talking about is you will continue your family life, and as devotee Karthik Prabhu mentioned, you will continue to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is your first step. So if you're asking, are you on a stage of associating to Guru? You've already taken your first step. So you chant your Mahamantra and you keep adding on steps to it, then you'll know your journey, right? So this is just a journey and we're all in that journey.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Devotee Santosh, is your hands up for some reason?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one
Please
question.
go ahead.
Just now, Mataji told about the demonic qualities.
Can you speak a little louder? You're very feeble.
Yeah, so just now Mataji spoke about some demonic qualities, and one of it was lust. So the example
One of it was?
Lust.
Yes.
Lust,
right,
yeah, sure.
right.
So she said that, and she went on to give the example that lust can be accumulating and acquiring more, maybe cars or clothes. But my confusion is that in this Kali Yuga, aren't we all doing that? Aren't we all accumulating some of the other things? And how do we overcome it?
So in Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said like Dushpuram Analena. That means this lust, whatever we are having, lust means any desire to any of the material desires. It is like a fire. So fire will never get satisfied. How much ever you feed, it will never get satisfied. So how much ever you try to satisfy the material desires, small thing or big thing, whether money or anything, for instance, it will never get satisfied. So only way to get out of this cycle is by associating with the Lord's name. So that is why we are prescribing, Prabhupada is prescribing the chanting of the names, 16 rounds per day, 16 rounds of Mahamantra per day. So slowly you will get a detachment from these desires and attachment to Krishna. So that is the only way. Surrender to the Lord's feet. Because
Prabhuji, the confusion with me was we are living in a family, and all these things are a part of essentials, right?
yeah, essentials to some extent we can have, but it should not go beyond that, like only for the living, whatever is
So
required
that
for
is
our
my
living.
confusion. Like, how
Yeah.
do we decide what is the extent? That is the confusion.
How much ever it is required, sufficient for living, that is the limit.
It's thumb and the middle finger.
Okay.
Like this.
Okay. And the second thing is, second question is, this chanting I have to do before sunrise or at any time? Any rule is there? Before sunrise, Brahma Murta or something like that is there?
Before sunrise is preferred. It's not hard and fast rule. It's preferred. because you will have less distraction, and the chanting will be very attentive. You've just taken shower, just woken up from sleep, very attentive. So and less distraction. One devotee once said in the class that when the sun comes out, there are so many distractions. Like when the light comes out, there's so many distractions.
Okay, okay.
But there is no hard and fast rules. You can chant at any time.
Anytime. So morning I can do 8 rounds and balance I can complete in the evening 8 rounds. I can divide that 16 rounds as per my choice.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you so much. Meeta Thakkar Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, my question is, why there are so many sampradayas when we all want to attain one Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna?
Well, that well, if everybody wants to become a doctor, why? What is the need for so many medical colleges? One college is enough, right? But the thing is that everybody wants to worship Krishna according to different inclinations, and Krishna enjoys it. You know, enjoyment means variety, Mataji. And becoming associated with one sampradaya means relishing spiritual enjoyment. There is an enjoyment. Otherwise, how can one person go on doing it for so many years? So in Brahmacharya sampradaya, Krishna enjoys the worship by Narad Pancharartika Vidhi. There are different vidhis in each sampradaya. Okay, in Sri Sampradaya, Krishna enjoys the opulence of Dwarka. The Sri Sampradaya, RADHA, they worship Krishna with lot of paraphernalia. You know, Krishna is worshipped in Vishnu form with Mother Lakshmi, which means lot of opulence. But in Brahmacharya Sampradaya, Krishna is worshipped as a cowherd boy. Krishna is absolute. Krishna can enjoy so many types of worships, and each devotee has inclination to worship Krishna according to their nature. Why not?
Then Mataji, will there be any competition knowingly or unknowingly with different kind of sampradayas?
There is going to be a competition, and who's going to serve, who's going to satisfy Krishna the most. That competition is always there, Mataji. In spiritual world also, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, one devotee is always thinking, but not in the level of being envious. One devotee is always thinking that that devotee is serving Krishna in such a nice manner. Look at me, my life is so useless. I'm not able to do it. I wish I could do something like that. That competition is there. That is competition, not like, oh, that person is doing so much better than me. Like, you know, like being envious. I don't know how to put it. Like I I wish that person doesn't do what they're doing and I only do what better. That is material competition. By putting someone down, stepping someone down and standing on them. That is material. Spiritual is appreciating what the other person is doing and saying, I wish I can also serve Krishna like that. Damodar Leela. You know Damodar Leela? Do you know Damodar Leela, Mataji? Krishna's
No,
Damodar.
No, Mataji.
Let me see if I can pull up the slides. I'll give you an example. So Damodar, yeah, here. So Damodar Leela, Krishna was.
Screen, Mataji.
Huh?
I cannot see the screen.
No, I am not sharing my screen yet.
Okay.
Still looking for my slide where it is. Damodar Leela, Krishna just woke up from his nap, and he goes to his mother, and his mother is sitting outside the kitchen and is churning yogurt into butter. Let me see where the slides are. So bad, I can't find my slide.
You can explain all, Mataji, otherwise.
Yeah, but a picture is worth 100 words, right? So there are beautiful pictures in that. So in that, so Mother Yashoda is churning the yogurt into butter. Krishna gets up in the morning, and Krishna goes to his mom and pulls her the border of the sari, that I'm here, lift me up and give me milk. This one. Mataji. So what is happening here? I'll tell you I'll not explain the whole thing, but that's what I want to tell you. What is the difference between spiritual and material competition? So Krishna one day gets up, smiles, goes to his mother. So his mother is churning the yogurt into butter for Krishna. He pulls on the sari and says that, give me milk. So Mother Yashoda stops what she's doing, picks up Krishna and gives him milk. But then and then she starts churning again. So baby is drinking milk and mother is churning yogurt. So everywhere is Krishna consciousness. But suddenly she remembers that she had kept a milk on the stove for boiling, and the milk is now simmering, and I have to go and put the milk down from the fire. So she puts Krishna on the side and goes in the kitchen, because of hari bari, milk is going to over boil. So in spiritual world, everything is living. Okay, so Prabhupada explains the milk is thinking that my life is useless because I was supposed to be offered to Krishna, and now Krishna is going to be satisfied by his mother's milk. So what is the use of my life? Let me commit suicide. So the milk is actually overboiling because it's distressed that now I will not be able to serve Krishna. So what is the use of my life? Let me commit suicide. So that is why the milk is overboiling. And Mother Yashoda goes and prevents. No, don't do it, because after some time Krishna will be hungry again, and you need to be available for that. So that is spiritual competition. And that is going on eternally. It is going on amongst the devotees, but they are not trying to step over each other. So all the sampradayas are not trying to step over each other. They are trying to assist and appreciate that. Prabhupada appreciates Ramanujacharya so much. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of Ramanujacharya glorification. Ramanujacharya used to come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take instructions. So, and Ramanujacharya is Lakshman, right? Rama Anuja. So Anuja means younger brother. So younger brother of Lord Rama is Lakshman. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Rama himself, or Krishna. So very, very sweet discussions and topics are revealed, but they are not competing. They don't compete by saying that, oh, Gauriya Vaishnavas, we are better than you. They will never talk like this. The other day, Namanishta Prabhu was telling me and one more devotee had joined from this class about ISKCON Tirupati. So Prabhupada went to Tirumala temple, okay, and he was welcomed by the Tirupati pujaris. They so much so that they actually closed the darshan for the public because a big acharya has come. They closed because they want to worship the acharya. They don't want distraction, so the darshan was closed for public that time. And the first thing they gave to Srila Prabhupada was, they said that what you have done is unimaginable by anybody across the world. It's not unheard of. So whenever we see a sannyasi, two things need to be given, a cow and land. So they gave Srila Prabhupada cow and they gave land. And they said, this is for you. And Prabhupada established ISKCON Tirupati on that land, which was given by Tirumala temple. So there is assistance. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very well explained. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Usha Parikh Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
What is the difference between soul and consciousness?
Yes. Who would like to answer this question? Sita Mataji. What is the difference between soul and consciousness?
I don't know if I can answer it properly, Mataji, but I'll try. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna. We are, in our hearts, we carry the soul. However, is it difficult? We are not realized. So how do we know soul exists in us? We can feel consciousness all through our body, right? So that is, I would say, consciousness is the soul. Consciousness is a symptom of through consciousness. We can realize that soul exists in us.
Very nicely explained. Very nice. This is what Srila Prabhupada says too, and I'm going to show you where he says this. that Mataji, consciousness is a symptom of the soul. If somebody is conscious, it means that there is soul inside that body. What is the difference between a living body and a dead body? Consciousness, right? That's a symptom. So I'm going to ask you to read this. Where are you? This book called Science of Self-Realization, and this chapter on the soul search. Mataji, can you read this, what I've highlighted? Usha Mataji.
Yes, undoubtedly, the soul is present in the heart of the living entity, and it is the source of all the energies for maintaining the body. The energy of the soul is spread all over the body, and this is known as consciousness. Since this consciousness spreads the energy of the soul and all over the body, one can feel pains and pleasures in any part of the
So the
body.
energy of the soul is spread all over the body, and this is known as consciousness. Okay.
Yes. Okay. The reason I asked this question is that during questioning, one of the co-hosts said that the soul enters the body at the time of sperm entering the womb, but the consciousness enters around 7th month. So I was a little confused. Why is it this way?
Well, the symptoms, because the consciousness is dormant initially. Like the soul is present in a tree, right? Is the soul present in a tree?
Yes.
But is the level of expression of the soul is as free as the level of expression of the soul in a human body?
No, it's not.
What is the difference? The same soul is present there also, here also, but the expression is different. So that is the meaning of the consciousness. The child starts moving in the body of the mother by around 20 weeks, right? 18 to 20 weeks is when the mother feels the movement of the child in the body. Why? Because that time the child becomes aware where it is. Before that, it is not aware. Like, where am I? Soul is there, but the consciousness or awareness develops little later.
Okay.
It shouldn't be so hard. Are you finding it hard to understand?
No, the timings, why 7th month? That's what I'm trying to understand. If the awareness of limbs and body, everything is there around, say, 28th week, then why 7th month? That is 5th month. So I'm just trying to understand the logic or the science rather.
That question is basically a question of Hatha Yoga. There are different between the things that we perceive, whatever we are seeing, and the thought that is made, and the words that come out. There are so many layers. So many layers are there. So sometimes we think like, oh, I wasn't thinking like that. How did I say something like that if I wasn't thinking like that? Do you ever face that? Why do we face that? Because there are different layers of consciousness that the things goes through. So when the body is ready, the body is ready. The legs are ready. The hands are ready. Brain is ready. Bile, mucus, blood, everything is ready. Around that time, it's now just the raw material is ready. It's just a matter of growing and becoming mature. Then the child becomes aware. Now I'm ready. And now who am I? So the human form is ready by that time. Then it becomes conscious. Before that, the human form is not ready. What are they going to be aware of?
Okay,
But
so probably, sorry.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
so
Mataji.
probably it means that if the child is delivered prematurely, then probably existence is possible, and that's the reason consciousness is said to be 7th month. Am I to read it that way? Because the body is ready now for even external existence because it's aware of everything, so can have a external existence if it is premature. I'm sorry, this is just a scientific
Trying to mix material and spiritual things here. The body is ready for awareness. It is not ready to live independently in the material world. It is ready for being aware of itself. But if the premature delivery happens, then it's a lot of struggle for us. We are very, very scared to deliver a premature, not scared, but we have to make a lot of arrangements for and be very vigilant about that the premature baby is getting delivered. Body is ready for the soul to be aware that it's a human being, but the body is not ready to be living alone in the material world yet. Still, the respiratory system has to mature. Okay, premature births have problems. Why?
Yes.
If it is ready to be living alone in the material world, it should not have problem. We are mixing material and spiritual things. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay.
The soul is ready to acknowledge that now it is in the body of a human being. Okay, so at the soul level, the awareness is coming, but the bodily preparedness that okay, now I can be coming out from my mother's body at 22 weeks of life. No, stay inside, please. You still need to develop the respiratory system, the cardiac system. They still need to mature.
That's true. Yeah.
It can't breathe on its own.
Yeah.
I don't think I have
Thank you so much.
satisfied you. Let me explore more. Okay, I'll come back.
No, I understand, but it's just the physical existence. Probably I'm mixing up, as you are rightly saying. So maybe gradually I'll come to that stage where both I can merge.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mataji,
Thank you.
breakout,
Yes.
breakout room, one Mataji was asking the 4 Sampradaya chart. Will you mind share that again?
We have already shared them. In 4th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, you can download it from the Teachable. 4th chapter, we have already shared it.
Okay, Mataji. And
Whoever asked this question.
Okay. One more question, Mataji, from Santosh Prabhu. I'll unmute him. So he was asking like the last that you have told in today's chapter. So that is what. But he was asking like in actual life we are not able to come over the lust fully because we still need some money to run the life. So I was trying to explain what is the point where we should stop that lust. He was trying to ask something like that. So I was trying to answer like whichever is sufficient for to carry out the living. So maybe you can add, correct me, Mataji.
Can you
Prabhu,
just
Santosh.
rephrase it? Yeah. Mataji, can I just repeat whatever Prabhu Karthik said?
Prabhu, can you please tell us your question first, if I may request you?
Okay, so my question was, you gave examples of lust, as in suppose you have a cupboard full of clothes, you would like to have more. If you have vehicles, you may have more. So Prabhu was explaining me that it should not go. It should be sufficient enough. Now that word is very subjective, right? So being in a family way, being with a family, my question was, how do I know when to stop?
So the family is a difficult. So it's not you. Then the problem is then there'll be too many minds over there. You can't decide alone and independent. And now no more. So your wife says, "My dear husband, give me sari," and you say you have enough. There you go. The problem with the family, not the problem, but maybe it could be a very nice thing also, depending on how it's taken. It's how and when to stop, or the limits cannot be independently decided. It has to be decided with everyone involved in the relation. So that is why better to have become Krishna conscious together. Prabhu, I'm not trying to intimidate anyone who is possessing a lot. I'm not trying to do that. What I was trying to do was, rather than labeling someone else, because that's the tendency of the mind, labeling someone else that, oh, this person is so lusty, oh, that person is doing this. We can be introspective and look at our own self. That what am I doing with my own life, rather than finding this character and trait anywhere else. Now, how do you stop in a family? Enough is enough. We cannot, unless and until the whole family is engaged in worshipping the deity. That is why grihasthas are advised to have Gauranitai deities or Jagannath deities in the house. So the deity, so have a pujari room, have dresses for deities, jewelry for deities. Make sure that deities are opulently worshipped in every house, especially.
Yeah, I
So
enrolled my
that,
son also for the 7 o'clock children's batch because of that.
okay, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
So go ahead, Prabhu.
no, please continue. I had one more question, but please enlighten me.
Prabhu, I can give you some. I'm not saying that I am not lusty in that way. Even I have so many saris which I hardly wear. But but one principle I learned living with the devotees is to have regular check-ins with one's family. So in my family, we don't do it every day, but we do it 2-3 times a week. We do it, and we do it seriously. Something called a family circle. So over there, me and my children, we sit down and we talk about like how are we doing with our lives, even though they are young, 9 and 13 years old. But you will be amazed to see how aware they are. So I asked them, like, tell me what's going on, and that's called emotional check-in. We have a sheet, a feeling sheet. Pick up what you're feeling and what is it that you need. And they tell, I need, what does he need now? 13-year-old needs a phone. Okay.
My son is on 30. He also requires a phone.
So no, he says it's my need.
Yeah.
So much so that he is actually presenting to me the presentation he made from various resources that why this is a need. So then we have a dialogue, difference between need and want, and we try to come to a midpoint. So it's not that you just outrightly reject other person, because person is relation is more important than the thing at the end. Sometimes I give in, and sometimes I reason out. I'm successfully able to delay or postpone the request, depending on how the situation is. But you have to have a very cordial relation where people are allowed to express each other. We cannot have Krishna consciousness in a life, in a house where one person is always giving orders and the other person thinks that the life is only about fulfilling the order of that person. That household Krishna will not stay. We have to have freedom of expression, and then build and work with each other from there. And I learned this by living with the devotees in Nagri for 4 months.
And another question that is not concerned with today's discourse, but this is a thought that keeps coming to my mind. Look, so we are all living in the materialistic realm now, and we have eunuchs around us. So, what does Bhagavatam say about a eunuch who is, I don't know, is a mix of male and female? So, what does Bhagavatam
I'm not able to. Your voice is little bit like muffled for me. So what are you saying?
Eunuchs. Eunuchs are.
Oh, eunuchs. Oh, it's a transgender.
Yes.
Transgender.
Yes.
So your question is, what does Srimad Bhagavatam says about them?
Yeah.
Well, Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the relationship of the soul with with Krishna. So they're also in the essential essence is soul, right? Prabhu, I said, I think I shared my realization earlier. We all, Srimad Bhagavatam actually does talk about the body. In 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishabh Dev is talking to his sons. When he's going to retire from family life, he gives instructions to his sons. And he says, you can read the chapter, I'll take you. Nunam pramatte krute vikarma, yat indriya priteye apnoti. Let's go. 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, the instructions of Rishabh Dev. We can read this characteristic. It is 5th chapter, 5th canto, 5th chapter. This chapter, he gives instructions to his sons, and he talks about that do something, my dear sons, do something which will lead you to the realization of the spirit. See this one, Nayam Deho Deha Bhajam Niloke. I think I'm going to ask you to read this.